All right, any of our friends outside? I think we're about to get started here now. Um, we'll push our schedule back about 10 minutes here, but I'll make sure that my presentation this morning is kind of brief. Everybody awake? Everybody had some coffee, got their favorite beverage in their hand. My sister said you always got to have three beverages, one to stay hydrated, one to stay caffeinated, and one for fun. So I see quite a few folks out here with many different beverage items in front of them. So I don't expect you to be falling asleep anytime soon here. All right, well, we'll get rolling on things here this morning. Welcome everybody to the National Soil Moisture Workshop. Thank you all for making the trek out here and to spend some time with all of us here this morning and throughout the week. We hope that you guys walk away from this week with some new ideas and most importantly, a few new friends. I do have a few logistics to go over here this morning. So the bathrooms, if you go out the door, take a left, look up, you'll see some signs, go down the hall, take a right. You should be walking by a glass looking cubicle room, and then you'll see the bathrooms there on your right. So don't hesitate to ask so if you can't find them. In case of a fire alarm, please don't have any panic here. The exit is right there. That'll be your emergency exit, or you can come out the way that you came in there in the front. Now, the logistic I know that everybody truly, really cares about is where's lunch going to be this morning. And that'll be at the Eccles Center, which is the building just to the north of here. So you do have to step out for any reason. It'll be the building just to the north of here, and we'll all head out that way at about 11:30. So I think that about clears up our logistics. Oh, one other thing, our poster presenters. I think all those poster boards are getting set up there outside. Feel free during a break to go set up your poster board. That won't be till this afternoon, but when you have a free moment, feel free to get out there and set it up, and anybody who walks by can take a look at it. And I do believe we might have to take them down here in the afternoon at the end of the poster presentation, but we can just bring them here in this room, or there's a place to store them. Oh, even better. Yep. So we can leave them up all night. So not a problem with that. All right. So first and foremost, I got to give a little credit where credit is due. There's quite a few folks I need to thank this morning for making this week happen. First and foremost is Dr. Scott Jones there in the back. Thank you for hosting us this year, and all your friends here at Utah State University. All y'all's hard work in arranging the tours and making this week possible did not go unnoticed. So thank you very much for your time. For those of you who do not know Scott, he's there in the back of the room. He's a professor of environmental soil physics in the Department of
This meeting is being recorded.
Climate at Utah State University. And also a big thanks needs to be given to our friends and sponsors here on the screen. Thank you for all the food that you have provided and the great tours that we're able to attend here on Monday. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to a few other folks here in the room that were instrumental on making this week possible. So first and foremost, we have Mike Kosh with the USDA ARS here in the front, and Stephanie Connolly as well. These folks, we've been meeting pretty regularly over here in the spring to make sure that this meeting gets to go off without any issues and you guys can have a good time. And we have lots of great ideas and conversations to be presented on here throughout the week. Also, I want to acknowledge that Stephanie over here, she's about to receive the what is it called again? Cooperator Achievement Award. So congratulations to you, Stephanie, with the USDA and NRCS. Thank you both for your hard work and your support. And the last shout out I need to give here is to the NCSMMN core team. They have been instrumental throughout the year for their support, knowledge, and leadership and ability to keep moving this network forward, bring more folks in like yourself, and have always new and fresh ideas to bring to the network. So thank you guys very much. If you've been hunting for the agenda, you can feel free to scan this QR code right here, or there are QR codes scattered across the room, and then you can find your agenda and kind of keep up to date with where we're headed throughout the day. Up next, this is sort of your morning preview, kind of give you an idea of what speakers are here on deck, and who will be following me this morning, as well as our good friends that will be having a lunch panel with here at about 12:30. Lastly, no workshop is complete without trying to set a few goals and objectives to keep in mind while you have the opportunity to network throughout the week. Let's try to keep these objectives in the top of our mind. And heck, if you're feeling a little awkward, it's a little bit weird of an icebreaker, but feel free to bring up one of these objectives. Maybe you'll have an opportunity to make a new friend, have a stimulating conversation, and you can see where things go from there. So part of my presentation here this morning is the opportunity to give you guys kind of the yearly update on where we are, where we're going here at the National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network. And through this presentation, I'll kind of give you, for some of the newer folks in the room, a little bit of background on the NCSMMN, some of the current achievements, previous achievements, and future questions and goals. And time permitting, well, I have a little story to tell because I get to kick things off here this morning about why actually just the chance to talk to you and have this chat with y'all here this morning is a kind of a full circle moment for me and pretty cool. So I hope to be able to get to that point in the presentation, and that will be my concluding thoughts there. Now, I am well aware to many folks in the room and online that I can kind of be of an unknown commodity. I'm pretty fresh face here in the scene, but I hope the fact that I can show you this photo with this amazing soil here in the background, that you know that you're in like and in good company. I am one of us, one of y'all. I do get very excited by things like this. Now, I grew up in Houston, Texas. I have a background in hydrology and soil science. I graduated from a couple European universities you've probably never heard of. No big deal. And previously, I was working at the Texas Water Resource Institute, where I had the opportunity to work on water quality issues across the great state of Texas. And as the years carried on, through some incredibly brutally hot summers, the conversation tilted a little more from water quality to talking about drought and drought related issues. And that led me to the position that I am currently in today. I am the Regional Drought Information Coordinator for the Pacific Northwest and the Missouri River Basin for the National Integrated Drought Information System. I gave that spiel at a conference a couple weeks ago. They told me that is way too long of a title and just to call me the drought guy. So if you do yell drought guy, I will, you'll have my attention and I will be all ears. Now, that being said, I am not the new program coordinator for the National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network. I think a lot of you folks know here that we have been soliciting to hire a new hire for this position to replace Marina. I cannot give too many details, but I can say that a candidate has been selected, and we're hoping to have this individual hired come September 1st. Now, what is NIDIS? What is the Drought Guide do? So those of you who are not familiar with NIDIS, we were created in 2006 with the congressional mandate to help the nation prepare for, mitigate, and respond to droughts, to move the nation from a reactive to more proactive approach. This is done through the development of the regional drought early warning systems. A drought early warning system it utilizes new and existing networks of federal, tribal, state, local, and academic partners to make climate and drought science accessible and usable to decision makers. And this is where the NCSMMN starts to come into the picture here. See, every 4 years, NIDIS is reauthorized by Congress. And depending upon what is going on across the national scale in the United States, our mandate can expand depending upon what congressional needs are. And so there are two catalyst events here that kind of brought upon the National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network. That is the Upper Missouri River Basin floods in 2011 and the 2017 Northern Plains flash drought, where both of those events were determined to be critical, where soil moisture was determined to be a critical indicator and provide early warning for those events. So in our reauthorization there in 2018, our mandate expanded to include the development of the NCSMMN. And as Marina told me once, ever since then, things have been off to the races, where in just 5 years, the successes of this network have been great. And judging by the attendance in the room and the attendance we've had online, those successes are undoubtedly going to continue. So what is the actual purpose of this National Coordinated Soil Moisture Monitoring Network? Well, we look to build on a network of networks, coordinating and convening with a range of partners and a range of in-situ operators all up and down the data stream to develop high quality nationwide soil moisture for the soil moisture data for the public good to influence and for decision makers to be able to use. This is done through decision tools and further building out the network with technical experts like folks here in the room. Now, along the bottom, you can see a range of institutions that we've partnered with throughout the time that network has existed, from federal agencies, universities, the National Drought Mitigation Center, and our state mesonettes. If you're feeling a little left out and you're not there on the screen, I'm sorry, but there's only so much real estate here in PowerPoint to be able to use. But thank you. We appreciate y'all being part of the network. So some of the early successes of the network were the release of the NCSMMN strategy here in 2021. This is an instrumental part of being able to kind of build that cohesion amongst all network partners and agencies. And I know that our friends like in Colorado and Hawaii have really been able to take this guidance document and run with it and using it as a framework for their own state build-outs. And also through the continued success of workshops like this. Being able to engage and listen with our end users and having workshops, listening sessions are all instrumental in ensuring that this network is meeting the needs of the people that it serves. And like I mentioned before, the establishment of our core team as well. So a key success over this past year will have to be the Upper Missouri River Basin build-out, and we're hoping that this will serve as a template for a national platform. Critically is an important component of realizing our vision for an integrated national data system. I want to point out here on this slide as well that we currently do not have a functioning national data distribution system right now, but we have been working with our friends at Synoptic on this, and we're looking forward to hearing more from them this week on this build out of this new data platform. Additionally, there have been some big increases and successes in our state partners and our soil moisture monitoring across like 13 states who have been planning and installing for new or significantly expanded networks, like the Oklahoma HydroNet. Get to pick on my friend Tyson here in the room, and we look forward to his presentation this week as well. Now, these larger build-outs are not necessarily directly part of NCSMN's mission, but they speak to the progress of our broader community in increasing awareness and building support for soil moisture needs across the United States. One thing to come out of this Upper Missouri River Basin build-out is the data value study. And the result of these build-outs, came about through this data value study aims to bring agencies together like the Army Corps, NOAA, and other universities to kind of have an operational value study aimed at improving end user tools, improving streamflow forecasting, and better understanding the value of all these build-outs that are going on in the Upper Missouri River Basin. This project has broad implications for river forecasting, reservoir forecasting, drought management, satellite and calibration and validation, but also allows for utilization of exploratory techniques like the neural network analysis or trying to push the envelope in new data science techniques and abilities. But also, very importantly, it allows us to continue to engage those end users, develop better end user tools, and once this project is complete, a report will be sent to Congress, again, on the value of all this data that is being produced through this Upper Missouri River Basin build-out. So what are a few continued priorities of the network here? Well, increased monitoring on tribal lands. We'll have a chance to hear from Stephanie Connolly as well on the advancement of the Forest Soil Moisture Monitoring Network. And I want to briefly mention here the technical assistance documents. They were actually a result of input from last year's meeting. And they aim to help build out our toolkit for supporting mesoNets, and by doing so can increase the professionalization of soil moisture monitoring, but also adds to the National Installation Protocol guidance and training developed from you folks, a lot of folks here in the room in the 2023 meeting. It's not the last word on this topic, but it's a step forward in being able to document the best practices and helping build the capacity and quality of in situ monitoring. So these documents will be coming out here soon, so keep your eyes peeled and look out for them. So where are we headed? This is the conversation that a lot of folks in the room we get to have all together and try to set, our goals and initiatives for the coming years. One thing that's always on the front of all of our minds, I'm sure, is end user services and making sure that we're developing a curated product set to benefit those specific stakeholder needs, but also the ability to go beyond soil moisture, incorporating geophysical data, soil chemistry. How do we connect with other monitoring networks to help create our full story and a larger picture here? Do we need to have a workshop for modelers, some more end user sessions? How can we do a better job of getting our tools out there? But also, how can we expand our educational resources by maybe being able to go beyond Soil Moisture 101? That was another resource created here by the network. So that was kind of your quick overview of where we've been, where we're at, and where we're going for the network. Feel free to come stop by and find me at another time if you want to know more information. I know a lot of you folks were instrumental in that work, so thank you very, very much. I want to briefly mention here the soil moisture survey. Any of y'all who've been around NIDIS for a little while, or received any of my emails have probably seen this mentioned quite a few times. So NOAA has requested a review of the soil moisture component of the U.S. Climate Reference Network, and this will help inform the plan for future sustainable operations. This assessment is being done to better quantify the value of this data for the scientific user and wider communities of soil moisture users, and the potential impacts of that soil moisture network were to be downsized or to be discontinued. So if you've not already done so, I cannot emphasize enough. You guys are the room of technical experts that can have a lot to say about the utilization of this network. We'd really appreciate you if you fill out the survey. This survey will be coming out. I'll send it out after I'm done talking to you folks here this morning and to all your email addresses. And again, we cannot emphasize enough the benefit of having a group like you guys being able to provide feedback on the utilization of the U.S. Climate Reference Network. So that survey has been purposely extended to July 22nd to ensure that we can capture the thoughts and ideas of all you folks here in the room here this morning. Now, this is the part I've been really looking forward to. See, I'll hear on my notes, all it says is story time. So this is where you have the opportunity to grab your 3 beverages, sit back. I just want to tell a quick story that helps kind of frame the opportunity I have here this morning, but also hopefully sets, our week off on a good note here. And I think about it as a broader network in action. And I know this guy on the screen looks like a stranger, and he is a stranger to everybody in this room, but I'll explain the story here in a second. So back in fall of last year, I had this landowner approach me, and he said, hey, I'm only down at the family ranch about 50% of the time. I'm tired of calling my neighbors for rainfall data. I just want to know how much rain my place is getting, and I don't always want to call my neighbors. And if it can be public, well, that's all the better. There's other folks in my position in the area who only get the opportunity to come to the family ranch 50% of the time, and maybe they can benefit from a little public data as well. All righty, well, thank you, sir. I'll see what I can do, and I'll follow up with you. So I had the chance in January to attend a conference, and I ran into a few folks with the Texas Mesonet, the Texas Water Development Board. I'm sure a few folks are friends and colleagues of folks here in the room here this morning, and we got to chatting about this landowner's needs. And they asked me, they said, hey, what county is he in? I said, he's in Lavaca County, Texas. And well, there's no Mesonet station there. So maybe there's an opportunity there to have another build out for a Mesonet station in a county in Texas where there is no data. So I put everybody in touch, and our buddy Mark Olden down there in Texas starts reaching out to the landowner, and now it's about March, and things always take a little slower in the government world. So I'm reassuring the landowner, hey, it's okay if you haven't heard anything here in a minute. It's protocol. And so one thing leads to another, and they finally make an agreement to get the first Mesonet station built out in Lavaca County, Texas. And this is all really exciting. It's all coming together pretty organically. And that's when, word travels fast in a small town, right? His friends, neighbors, producers in the area start giving him a call saying, hey, when do I get my Mesonet station? I want one now. Well, that's not exactly how that works, but, I know a guy who can probably tell you where to find the data once the station gets installed, and you can utilize that for your own, benefit. And so those producers and rice farmers and ranchers in the area are, getting a little excited. This data has been set for the fall for the built out of this station. And at this point, you're probably thinking to yourself, man, you know a lot about this guy, you know a lot about this area, and why has this landowner continued to keep you updated on the progress of this Mesonet station built out on his property? Well, you see, the newest stakeholder, the newest end user of this network, who's going to have a Mesonet station on the family ranch, just happens to be my dad. And so I'm feeling pretty motivated these days, and it's pretty awesome to get the chance to chat with you all here this morning on it. And I can't emphasize it enough. Keep up the hard work. Thank you guys for all your efforts over the past year. And, please don't hesitate to spread the word about all the good work that the network is doing. And I hope to God that no one gets a call from my dad, with lots of questions, but hopefully I'll be the guy who can take those calls. So I think it's a pretty cool opportunity, and it does kind of frame the network in action in large. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to come and find me. You can scan this QR code and get signed up for any of Nidus's email serves. we do have officially, I got the email late last night, a button you can click now to only get signed up for the NCS MMN emails. And unfortunately, I was told I cannot send you my favorite soil science jokes through that email, but come find me afterwards. I'm happy to tell you them in person. So I appreciate the opportunity to kick things off here this morning. Thank you, everybody, for your time. And up next is going to be our tribal keynote. We have Crystal Tolly Cordova from the Navajo Nation in the Department of Water Resources, who will be presenting for us here this morning. So thank you, everybody, for your time.